Okay, I will fade it. I just think it's beautiful stuff. I've only ever bought one record in my life just because I like the look of it, and this is it. I was in I don't know if anybody remembers, Eamon Murtagh ran a record shop in the Crescent Shopping Centre back in the mid-80s, early 80s. I bought this on the 21st of May 1982. I was studying for my Leaving Cert. So there's a rep came into the shop and he dealt with these Charlie R&B records. Absolutely fantastic. That Elmore James one is one as well. And I have a Lightning Hopkins one that was on that series. But I just thought this looks very cool, and I brought it home. I'd never heard of T-Bone Walker. I knew Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and those guys, but I'd never heard of this guy. And this last time I did this presentation, I played a Louis Jordan track, kind of swing jazz, and this is kind of like another element of what became rock and roll, I suppose. Jumps on it.
The streets are filled with women looking for romance. The streets are filled with women and they're looking for romance. But if you haven't got plenty money now, you don't stand a chance. When I first met you, baby, you didn't have a lousy time. When I first met you, baby, you didn't have a lousy time. She was standing on her deuce of benders and she was hungry and almost blind.
I'm going to do this now. I hope you don't mind. Some of you will mind, and some of you won't mind fading tracks out. But I want to squeeze in as much as I can. So he was one of the earliest of the electric guitar players. Himself and Charlie Christian and a couple of other guys. And he used to do stuff that Chuck Berry stole. He used to do a duck walk type thing with the guitar, and he used to play it behind his neck and stuff like that. And of course, Chuck Berry took up all that stuff. I'm going to go back. Well, that's all. That track we just heard, that was like recorded just around the time of the Second World War. It was like really early, 42, 43, that kind of time. And then some of the stuff was post just after the war. So, but at the same time, I'm going back in time for myself because I came upon this guy in 1982. Back when I was a youngster, my sisters were very important in terms of music in the house, you know. And they were really into Neil Young and Cat Stevens and Bread and people like that, you know. But the one, well, not the one, but one of the ones that really struck me, it's probably a little bit later actually. This is probably more 75, 76 maybe. Joan Armatrading. I mean, very highly regarded, but still kind of underrated, I kind of think, and maybe a little bit forgotten about. And this track, Willow. It's probably 1975.
May not be a bed, no good ones don't come by the score. You've got something missing, I'll help you, you can be sure. And if you wanna be alone, someone to share a love, whatever you want me to, all you gotta do is ask. the fireside. Come ready to play when things get out of hand. Running the beat when it's more than you can stand. I said I'm strong. When the sun is out.
I'm just going to go into the next track. Freddie White gets mentioned an awful lot when I'm talking about music. Irish singer-songwriter. He's done gigs here. And Freddie was just fantastic for people back in the late 70s and early 80s because he introduced us to a lot of artists, one of whom was this guy. And Freddie actually did this song as well, Warren Zevon. I mean, well, I don't know about, I won't speak for everybody else, but I hadn't heard of Randy Newman, I hadn't heard of Guy Clark, I hadn't heard of Warren Zevon until Freddie did these guys' songs, you know. And so it was a real education. And yeah, Zevon died a few years back, and there's a wonderful documentary about it, the last album he made when he was dying. And it's just really lovely, very moving, kind of, very good crack as well, actually. But anyway, this is a great Warren Zevon track. It's called Accidentally Like a Martyr.
The phone don't ring, no, and the sun refused to shine. Never thought I'd have to pay so dearly for what was already mine. For such a long, long time we made mad love, shallow love, random love, and abandoned love. Accidentally, like a martyr. The hurt gets worse and the heart gets harder. We made mad love, shallow love, random love, and abandoned love. Accidentally, like a martyr. The hurt gets worse and the heart gets harder. The day slides by. Should have done, we all.
I love it. Another album. Actually, this one I kind of bought because of the look of it as well. I just liked it. I knew who Captain Beefheart was, but Captain Beefheart kind of scared me because I had tried to listen to his famous album Trout Mask Replica. It's like the Ulysses of rock music insofar as a lot of people claim to have listened to it, but I wonder, you know. It's really difficult stuff.
Controlled substances, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, apparently every note of that was deliberately, you know. Anyway, so I don't know. I just thought I'll give this a try. It's a mini album. It came out very strangely. It came out in 1985, but it was recorded back in the mid '60s. And David Gates, I mentioned Bread. David Gates produced it, which is really weird because it's pretty raw stuff. But I mean, this guy could have done a Howlin' Wolf tribute show, no problem. because he's got that growl. I was thinking at one stage when I was kind of trying to come up with what tracks I was going to play, I realised I had very few female artists in it. I had that Joan Armatrading track and a Bjork track, which I might play later. And I was thinking, well, who, like, amongst, like, you know, who are the greatest, you know? And I mean, I'm not going to shock anybody by saying that Aretha Franklin is just the greatest voice, you know, unbelievable. And I'm going to play just a little bit of Say a Little Prayer because we all know it. But I just thought, going to play my favourite songs? Well, that's one of my favourite songs. So just give Say a Little Prayer a minute. The other singer I often think of, which is from a completely different genre and much more kind of maybe old style, is Patsy Cline. I didn't really like country music when I was young, but the movie Sweet Dreams kind of made me realise that was the Patsy Cline biographical film. Jessica Lange playing Patsy Cline, and it's just another amazing voice. So we give Walking After Midnight a little bit of a.
Out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I walk miles along the highway, well that's just my way of saying I love you. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I stopped to see a weeping willow crying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying for me. And as the skies got gloomy, the night wind whispered to me,
great voice, isn't it? A bit of a change of pace now. I'm going to do something. I'm going to play something local. I'm always going on about the local music scene and how amazing it is, and it really is amazing. It was great back in the 80s with Choose the Blue and Two Can Dance in the Groove and all those guys. But I kind of feel there's as good stuff now as there was then. And one of the best is this group called Bleeding Heart Pigeons, and they played here in April, I think it was, or May, at my invitation because I just wanted to hear them.
I heard they supported the Pixies on Cork.
Did they? Yeah.
In Marquee, King's Gate.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing an Irish tour now in the coming few weeks. But anyway, you don't have to make any concessions for the fact that they're a local band or anything like that. This is just top-notch rock music. They'd be very influenced by Bowie and Psychedelic Furs and people like that. So we give it one of the best if I can.
There's rolling hills, lakes freezing over, winter. There's another me, 50 years older, struggling down the street. There's two more addicted to each other, new ones coming out of the mothers. Two more who make each other's blood boil, dead ones rotting in the soil.
That's quite a long track, that. Anyway, great band. They're from Oak County, and they, this was released by Virgin, contract with Virgin, but they've run into trouble with getting the second album released, which they've recorded, but hopefully it will come out in the not too distant future. But there's loads of great local bands, and I mean, I think they deserve to be checked out. When I did the presentation the last time, I kind of did a run through from what the first records I loved through kind of chronologically almost. And I was talking about the period when in America around 1983, 84, there seemed to be very little happening in music that was interesting. And then you had REM coming along, and a whole lot of bands that had this kind of rootsy American thing going on. You know, Los Lobos, who I love. One of their records is up there. I just brought those records in for colour. Stephen, my son, said I was bringing them in to show off, but I wasn't. So I was just bringing them in for people. They're interesting, some of them. But yeah, Los Lobos, Long Riders, REM. And I forgot completely to mention this band, which was Jason and the Scorchers. They pioneered what was called cowpunk, which is kind of like country music with a new wave or punk kind of edge to it. And this was their first album, a mini album called Fervor. I think it might be a 40. It's not a 45. And there's a great cover of Bob Dylan's "Absolutely Sweet Marie." They play it at about 100 miles an hour. And but I'm going to put on this track that the singer and songwriter Jason Ringenberg he wrote with Michael Stipe. And again, it's a bit on the long side, but I'm going to skip the start of it actually. I think I'll drop the needle a little bit into it. I know, I can't do that actually. Can't bring myself to do that.
Stands in the sun, saturated his hand, with a sweat in the ground of another day. It's a broken, tired man. Watch his feet fly when they come to try, take his old bones away. With his bottle of gin, he'll be back again to fight another day. But she said black ain't white, the morning don't bring night. Two steps out so damn for all time, to walk both sides of the line. As the sun slides down and the children go inside, the time to stare come back to me, for leaving my side. There's a match all around, the seas around, I crumble in my midst. I trade it all for a midnight car and just a holy kiss. But she said black ain't white, the morning's over tonight. Two steps out so bam for all time, to walk both sides of the line.
So that's Jason and the Scorchers. This album, Fervour, and their following album, Lost and Found, were great. I don't know anything about them from there on. I think Jason Ringenberg has, a pretty successful solo career since that band. Well, this is looking at me, so it's been looking at me since I started off, so I have to put on Bjork. I saw the Sugar Cubes, which was the band that she kind of started off with. I saw them in the SFX Hall, I suppose around 1987. And the problem with the Sugar Cubes was it was kind of herself and another guy kind of co-leading the group, and the other guy was really he was really annoying, So I was delighted when she went solo and did her own thing. I'm sure she's a real maverick artist, isn't she? She's done really strange things. She recorded albums with no instruments on them and stuff like that, But this debut, this is one of the best albums ever in the history of rock music, I think. It's just fantastic stuff. And I'm going to just draw the track. By the way, if anybody, is feeling like this isn't doing anything for me, don't be shy to go on your way. I'm not sensitive about it. One thing about music, I know some people, if you don't like something that they like, they get all wounded, Yeah, But anyway, if you don't like any of the stuff I'm playing, or if you don't like any of it at all, that's fine. But I know I played one song that you're not able to not like, and that was Aretha. If you didn't like Aretha, I don't know what you're at a music thing for. So anyway, this is Bjork, and this is track I'm after putting on. Oh, that's the end of the one track. Yeah. Come on. I don't know, I'm not happy with the sound. There's something missing. That's Björk from Iceland, of course. I'm going to go with another artist that, I don't know, it's very weird. This artist, Judy Sill. Does anybody know Judy Sill? Yeah? Because, like, as I was saying earlier about my sisters and Neil Young and Jackson Browne and all that, but I can't understand how Judy Sill didn't become one of those, you know, because wait till you hear this. If you don't know her, this will blow your mind. No, this is amazing. I think I only came across her last year, or a couple of years ago. I don't know how. I think it was Old Grey Whistle Test, that music show. There was a compilation album and she was on it, and I thought, what the hell?
She's 70s, is she?
Yeah, this is kind of 72 or thereabouts. 73, 74. This is called Jesus Was a Crossmaker.
One time I trusted a stranger because I heard his sweet song, and it was gently enticing me, though there was something wrong. But when I turned, he was gone, reminding me his song remains, reminding me he's a bandit and a heartbreaker. Oh, but Jesus was a crossmaker, sweet silver angels over the sea. Please come down, fly in love for me. He wages war with the devil, a pistol by his side. And though he chases him out windows and won't give him a place to hide, he keeps his door open wide. Frightened him, he lights a lamp, and frightened him, he's a bandit and a heartbreaker. Oh, Jesus was a crossmaker, sweet silver angels over the sea. Please come down, fly and love for me. I hear the thunder come rumbling, the light never looks so dim. I see the junction get nearer, and danger is in the wind, and either rose looking grim. Hiding behind fleet desire to frighten me. He's a bandit and a heartbreaker. Oh, but Jesus was a crossmaker. Yes, Jesus was a crossmaker.
Yeah, definitely check her out because that's a great song. But you know, her other stuff is really good. Judy Sill, and you should check out her story on Wikipedia. Because kind of very tragic life, really, with this island of fantastic creativity in the middle of it. You know, yeah. 1979. I was 15 in 1979, and it was the greatest year in rock music to me. Punk and new wave had kind of morphed into punk had morphed into this new wave. The old guys, the Neil Youngs and Van Morrisons, brought out great stuff. The Irish thing with Freddie and Scully and all that was all hopping. So for me, 1979 is the year, and this is one of the albums. Graham Parker and the Rumour, Squeezing Out Sparks, and again, I don't know, I think this is one of the greatest albums ever made, and it doesn't seem to get regarded somehow. I mean, Parker is well known on this side of the Atlantic anyway, you know. And there's a song on this called Passion Is No Ordinary Word, and it isn't. And what I think about this is there's real passion in it, and it's almost quaint, you know, because music isn't made like this anymore, or not much anyway. So this is Passion Is No Ordinary Word. Back to
Passion is no ordinary word.
Can't bring myself to fade it out. We have to go on. We have to persevere. So, Graham Parker played in Limerick in '77. Were you at it, were you?
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was too young.
Amazing live act, amazing.
Yeah, played in the Savoy. It's a legendary gig for some reason. People talk about it a lot. So, yeah, he kind of got taken in under the New Wave banner, even though he preceded it, really, yeah. Yeah. Let me see, what am I going to do now? I still have 15 minutes or so. Oh yeah, I have to play these guys. I was going to actually maybe try doing it on YouTube. Remember I was saying earlier how I kind of lost my love of music at one point, and Wilco was part of the thing that kind of got me back in. But these guys, I think they're the best band in this country for the last 20 years. They're gone now. They called it a day. I mean, they're from Cork. Fred the band from Cork. I mean, I went to see them in Cork a couple of times. They filled the Opera House. They were absolute monsters in Cork. And then they could come up to Limerick the following night and play to 40 people upstairs in Dolan's. They never, I don't know what happened. But anyway, I loved them. And of course, Jamin Donovan from Limerick became a member of the band. And that's Michael Donovan's son. Anyway, I'm going to play this track, and I think I'm going to just swing the laptop around. You'll probably be able to see it. Let me just get rid of some other things. Just because I like the video, I think it was very well made. Can I get rid of this as well? I can. But and Jamin sings this one actually. It used to be Joe and Jamie were the singers, but Jamin in the last album sang a few of the songs and was really good. So let's try this. I don't know, can you see that?
Yeah.
Like strings of broken words
So that's Fred. They made 4 albums, and I think the third and fourth albums are on Spotify if you want to check them out. Yeah, I went to see them, I'd say 16, 17 times, and what I loved about them was they just real great positive feel to their stuff without being twee or whatever. Really good, and a really good band, like a real team. Yeah, but of course they never got anywhere really. Such is how things go. Let's go on something else now. Oh yeah, when I got my record player back in action, this was one of the first records I threw on. It was a great sound, Grace Jones, Nightclubbing, and I remembered then what a cool album it was. So I'm going to try and pull up to the bumper for a minute. So as it turned out then, I have plenty of female representation in my playlist. I don't know what I was worried about. Good sound, isn't it? That album. Oh yeah, the last time I did this 2 years ago, I went through the whole thing, and somebody pointed out to me that I'd gone through the whole thing without playing a Bob Dylan song. Now I know because I'm a Dylan, is my number one, has been since I was 13 years of age, and I know he polarizes opinion. So if you're not a fan, just bear with it for a couple of minutes. And I thought I'd play a track. I mean, everybody knows Rolling Stone and Blowing in the Wind and All Along the Watchtower. I thought I'd play a track from his more latter period, which this is from Love and Theft, which is 2002, which is like 17 years ago now, but still, it's still more the recent Bob Dylan, I suppose, in a way. This track is called High Water, and then brackets for Charlie Patton. Charlie Patton was an early blues guy, earlier than Robert Johnson even. So, here we go. I'm just going to play a minute of it. Have I got it on the right? I like that a lot. That album, Love and Theft, is a great album, and the album preceding it, which the title always escapes my mind, Time Out of Mind. Which actually, some people say he called that album after a Warren Zevon lyric. I can't remember the Warren Zevon song, but anyway. Yeah, Time Out of Mind and Love and Theft are both top class albums. And then he brought out a few that were okay. And then he brought out the Christmas album. One of the funniest moments of my life was going into HMV when it was on Cruiser Street there, and just seeing this Bob Dylan Christmas album. I couldn't believe it. It was hilarious. And actually there's some really nice things on it, But he's having a bit of fun, yeah, for sure. So I'm going
Quickly
to
take
jumping back again to Madness, who were a great band, and everybody loved Madness. They were great crack and all that, but really substantial work as well. And just to say as well, I'm going to actually play a medley of Madness, and they brought out. They are still making really good music. Their last two albums were excellent. I mean, really, really good. So I'm going to throw on Embarrassment is the first one I'm going to play a bit of. That's a really interesting song because it just sounds like a pop song. But the theme of it is very serious stuff. The guy, I think is the sax player in the band, his sister got pregnant to her black boyfriend. And this was a huge trauma in the family. And that's embarrassment. So, and all worked out in the end. I'm glad to know. But this is how things were back in. Well, I'm not saying they've changed that much either. Phone on.
Just the other day, doesn't seem to wanna know you no more. Breaks down, giving you this for. Within the first 2 lines, it's like getting red. The night comes in, us no more. Keep away from our door. Don't come round, we no more. More than ever, did you do that before? All wrong, she don't wanna know, she says.
And this is from slightly later on. I checked all these records on the record player at home and they were fine, but different record players have different kind of weights and stuff. So I'm going to finish up with this. This is a very low key finish. This is a song that really you should be listening to at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's from one of my favourite albums. I don't have the album. Why don't I have the album? I do have it. I'll play it off the laptop though. Prefab Sprout, Steve McQueen. Some people kind of dismiss Prefab Sprout as being a bit kind of like a twee is the word that comes. I don't know what twee means even. You know, kind of like, but they're not. You know, Paddy McAloon is a serious songwriter, and this is just one of the greatest albums ever. And this side one of this, Far and Young, Bonnie, Appetite, When Love Breaks Down, Goodbye Lucille, #1, and Hallelujah. It's like side one of Moondance or something. It's that good, you know. Or side 2 of Abbey Road, is it? Is it side 1 or side 2 of Abbey Road they go on about? But that's how good this side is. I don't know. There's somebody smiling over there. I don't know if they're smiling because they think that's a ludicrous statement, or if they're thinking of something else. I don't know.
If you don't like this, you're in the wrong.
What?
If you don't like this, you're in the wrong room, my friend. You better hurry up and leave.
Okay, so I'm going to finish up with this, and as I say, it's very low key, but sure, it's nice. It's lovely anyway. Remember it? Start over.
Well, make it worse. I advise you to forget her. Johnny, Johnny. You're not the first, though it hurts. Johnny, Johnny. What are you, 21? Why don't you give it a rest? The world is a million. There can be no contest. Life's not complete.
So that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed some of the music. I enjoyed doing it anyway. Thanks very much for coming, Joe.
Hello, Joe. Star.
Well, at least I did an effort after my meeting to come in.
All right, a meeting. Anyway, so we're not going to do it next month. We're going to take a break for August, and Tom is doing our September.
I know. It won't be big enough. We're going to be well.
No doubt.
Okay, yeah. So thanks a lot.
Really the audience.
Thank you.
Sure.
Well done. Have you played this guy?
Well, thanks. I haven't.
Oh, Johnny Net.
What?
Have you loved the net?